Okay, so we just went over the short, tight articulations, but we also have these folders called mod combos. What does that mean? Well, the mod combos basically are mod speed. So we have 4 articulations that are being selected by mod wheel: staccatissimo, staccato, staccato on bow, and marcato short. So I'm going to go to mod speed first, and let's check that out. While I'm waiting, I can still play. It's my loading music. All right, so here we go. So in this one, it basically becomes longer as I push the mod wheel up. Then we have staccato to marcato. Yep. So basically it's just changing the speed of your articulation based on where the mod wheel is being set. So that's the mod wheel combos, basically, in a nutshell. What I want to talk about a little bit now is the repetitions and what the repetitions are about, because it's pretty cool. Basically, under effects, we have first violin repetitions. If I double click on that, basically what's going to happen is it's going to give me this, it's going to play the same note over and over again, but it's an actual performance from actual musicians. And what's really neat is that this is timed to the host tempo of our DAW. So it's neat. We actually have that time to the DAW. So the repetitions are pretty great. We also have runs and things like that we need to talk about. So if I go to Tremolo here, I just want to show you the Tremolo is very similar to the repetition. And they have different times of tremolo. Like some of the tremolos will be timed to the song and some of them won't. In this particular location, they will. And we also have our trills. We have playable runs, which basically means these instruments are made so that we can create our own run. So if I do a slur run, there is slur and portamento. And there's a difference between slurring and using portamento. So when you do portamento, usually the movement from note to note. So what portamento does, it basically does a pitch bend from one note to the next note. And you hear the whole pitch bend, and it's usually pretty obvious and extreme. But when you use a slur, essentially it's much shorter, it's more accented, and sounds a little bit more like how a real player would slur between notes. And when a string player is playing a very fast line, there's a lot of little slurs going on. So that's what these playable runs are all about, is incorporating those slurs in so that the run sounds more realistic. So now that I have the instrument loaded, I can play some kind of a fast line. If I go to the player and switch that to legato, no, this one actually works better without the legato on. So there you go. That is the playable runs. Whenever you see it saying smooth, it's going to do less of the intelligent scripting that it's doing to make the run sound realistic. Smooth just means it's sort of blending the notes together using volume in a sort of more conventional way. So the smooth is also a little bit less CPU intense. That's pretty cool. So those are the runs, and then we have pre-recorded runs. So check this out. Let's do run up and down using mod wheel. So as you see in our runs here, we've got KS, mod, and split. So we all know what KS is by now. It means key switching. Mod wheel means we are using the mod wheel, and then split means that we split the keyboard. So in one half of the keyboard, it's running up, and the other half of the keyboard, it's running down. So I'm going to use the mod wheel now. So mod wheel up means it runs up. Mod wheel down, it runs down. Then we have major runs and minor runs. Then we have whole tone runs. Pretty cool stuff. So definitely check out the effects folder, get into the runs, and check out the repetitions. This stuff, like just adding a couple of these flourishes and ornaments into a piece really makes a huge difference. Again, the repetitions are going to be timed to the song. If we are using slur runs, usually sustained notes are going to have 3 levels of vibrato via mod wheel: no vibrato, vibrato, and multi-vibrato. So you do have finger positions available on slur runs and things like that as well if you want. And on the spiccato runs are only on the second violins, so we're not going to be able to see them on first violins. So if I come over here and go to my second violins, there are certain things that are available to the second violins that aren't available anywhere else. If we go to the playable runs, yep, there they are. There's the spiccato runs. So those are only available to the second violins. And doing the fast runs with the spiccato articulation, I mean, the difference between the first violins and the second violins, they're not actually different instruments. So that's why they chose to put them into the second violin area. So then tremolos, we have 2 types. We have measured, which uses the current tempo, and then TS means tempo sync. You can also use controller 11 to control loudness. All right, there we go. Trills, repetitions, runs. I think I got them all. Let's move on. Let's talk about some simple legato stuff, and I want to explore legato a little bit more.